Gabriele?
Yes.
How do you feel after this last 4 days?
Well, there was a lot of work that we've done, and I feel more and more convinced that what we're doing has a real deep meaning, not only for Albania, but more generally for the world.
Did you expect such a thing when you came here?
Well, not in this scope. I wasn't, well, of course I came to check out, progress and to see, what was going on. And I am pleased to say that it met my expectation and it surprised me in a positive way. All the work that has been done and all the conversation we had, and especially the spirit of the people that are in. And I think it's a great starting point. There is a lot of willingness to grow, to participate, to share, and we have to stress that out. We need to start going out. We need to start having the procedures in place where we are aware of the people that are joining the party, and that the things are a little bit more under control that way. But it's also interesting to see that when something it's growing this fast, there is a lot of spontaneity where we don't want to break into it. We want just to guide it. We just want to make sure we keep on growing and we don't disperse all the energy.
Do you think that in these times of consumerism, pandemia, huge crisis, huge democratical challenges like even those in the United States now on the regards of the elections, it's still time for idealism? So this thing, do you think it's appropriate, or it's just a dream of some people who...
Well, I think, idealism comes when, you are coping with a reality that is not quite the reality you would like. Of course, today people are very confused because we have been told so many different things about this COVID-19, and we have to admit that most of the government have got no idea of what they were dealing with. We have many different procedures in place, even inside the European community. We don't have one agenda for the whole world, although the virus is only one. Everybody is putting their energy and their effort into different things. We could argue that there is very little knowledge on how to handle this, and this is creating confusion. This is creating a state of mind in people of being afraid, of being confused. So I think, yes, it's time for idealism. It's time to regroup. It's time to look inside and to find solutions, but new solutions. And I think in that spirit, LRA, the new movement, it's right on the money. It's right where it should be. It also has to do with Albania, with the internal crisis that we are following and we are seeing also from outside. It's never a good idea where you have different political party threatening each other and to wanting to bring the country to the verge of civil unrest and violence. So I think Albania needs at this point, it needs a more stable government. It needs to improve the relationship with not only with other country but especially with entrepreneurs. Money should flow in, when people should feel comfortable and not threatened by, instability. Especially in a moment like this where, crisis is also opportunity, but, you have to have a country that's willing to give some reassurance to foreign people that are coming in and that are bringing money, that are bringing knowledge, that are bringing their, they're moving their life to this country. It needs to be, somehow dealt with a welcome, and not saying, okay, you're welcome today, but we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Look, we have this feeling that during the end of 80s and at the beginning of 90s, when the wall of Berlin fall and the communism fall down, a huge trick took over the world. So it was like a compromise. The communists never didn't really go. They never really left. And in Albania, for example, we think that the political pluralism, it's fake political pluralism. We don't really have a political pluralism. From 1990 till now, we have a presidentocratic pluralism. So one man is all the party, everything. But on the other hand, there are three other components that keep our democracy hostage. The former secret services of the communist times, they put their people in the free market world, so they are the new entrepreneurs. So they control everything, our economy, our finances, our banks. The owners of the televisions belong again to the former Communist Party and to the former secret services. And the question is, meanwhile the world is living this crisis, democratic crisis, we were not able in these 30 years to really get to exercise democracy.
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that today you can have, LRA, a new movement, and that 20 years ago or 30 years ago you couldn't have had it. So somehow what you're saying is true, but somehow it's not. It is true, that you have, once you started a process, for a long time, this process is going to influence the system. So you had a strong system, a pyramidal system, and at the top, the Communist Party and the people that were acting in the name of the Communist Party. But in the meantime, you have the people underneath, learning in these 30 years a little bit about freedom. So it is true, many times, power is retained by the groups that had power before, but less and less. If you look at the church 600 years ago, you had Inquisition. You had, people being persecuted for not being Catholic or not going to church. Today, that is not anymore the case. So power, again, exercised by the oligarchs and the ex-Communist Party, or, what is left of the of the Communist Party, of course it retains a power. Of course it retains, a lot of energy from those days. But it's going to be less and less and less and less. And it needs time. It needs time for people to feel free and to be able to understand that they have rights. And of course, they're going to be tricked into, you know, into new type of manipulation. Of course, the ones that had, you know, the start ahead had a better look into, you know, the business, because they had, you know, secret informations, and that because they had the power and the connection to make things happen. But as you know, as LRA and other party may, you know, grow and into this country, maybe, you know, also, you know, the moral politics, the ethic of politics will change. And so I think this is the process. The process is difficult. Not only the people have to change, but the party leader have to change. And that's why I say, you know, this remains of the old power, where someone wakes up one morning and thinks, oh, I'm gonna, you know, stir up trouble inside the country. I'm gonna fight with the, you know, mercenaries, or I'm gonna fight with, you know, a bunch of my armed people against the central power. It doesn't really work. It doesn't really work in a world where, you know, me as an entrepreneur, you know, if I see something like that, I just leave the country, you know, and the country will, you know, will lose more and more energy, more and more power. And today, you know, you'll have the NATO intervening, and the chaos and starting again. So somehow it cannot be dealt, you know, and power and control cannot be dealt in the old ways. This is just like childish playing. It's like Trump saying, okay, you know, they robbed me of my election day. Yes, somehow, you know, there may be something that didn't work the way it should have, but that's, you know, for Trump, and that's for Biden too. So again, if the system doesn't work, it doesn't work not only for Trump, but it doesn't work for Biden as well. I believe, you know, that we have to grow up and really try to do our best, and really try to change the system. And of course, some people are going to have a way of doing things like they used to. So probably, you know, they think that they can go around and kill people. They think that they can go around and threaten people. They think they can go around and steal things. But, you know, if we're good enough, and if we are really a compacted society and really want to see a change, well, we have to defend each other. Then, well, we have to, you know, stand up for our right. And things will change. Things have changed before and will change again.
In fact, you said more or less same thing in a very reflective way. And I agree with you. Because it takes new births, new energies, initiatives, platforms, alternatives, to start the process of changing the country, or changing the history, or the course of, or the journey of things going around. And yes, I agree with you. And my point is that one of the reasons of our existence is because we consider ourselves like the last of the Mohicans. Because
very romantic.
Very romantic. In a very romantic way, we consider ourselves, because we see like the hands that control the powers, political powers, economic powers, media in Albania. They try to implicate, to make dirt anybody, to make part of wrongdoing anybody. So just a few are left clean, and we are trying to gather those few. That's why we call ourselves the last of the Mohicans. So we are the last ones who have been kept out of wrongdoing or evil, and who are out of control.
Okay, but I'm sorry for interrupting you. I don't want to go too far in the discussion. I think, you know, there is a point to be made here. if you trust the system, as you said, to be able to implicate people into something wrong, although they are not, well, then you'd give too much credit to the system. And you should, in my point of view, you should not give all this credit to the system. It doesn't matter if they, if they spoil your ideas. It doesn't matter if they, implicate you in some wrongdoing. Nelson Mandela was in jail for many, many years, more than 20. And that doesn't, didn't change what he was doing. You can only, you should think, in my point of view, you should think that you can only be judged by God and history and not by a political party that it's an adversary. In that respect, I think, they can say whatever they want. They can try to trigger you into whatever they want. The truth is, you're trying to change the system, and the system is going to try to resist this in any way they can. If they can, in a nice ethical way, they'll do it in a nice ethical way. If they can't do it in a nice ethical way, they'll find other vicious way to do it. But that doesn't change who you are. That doesn't change, your perspective and what you want to do.
Right, and that's the point. So I am ending by saying, in this concept, in this part, that's why we consider ourselves like the very foundation of political pluralism in Albania, because we are the first party and the first group which is not in any field or in any part in any way controlled by the system. So we are totally free, which is a rarity. And the other thing is that this gives us space to do something really deliberate, honest, with the citizens, from the citizens, for the citizens. The other thing is that we consider like a huge damage to our democracy the fact that the political parties that have been founded after 1990 as representatives of the right wing in Albania, they are fake right wing. So we consider ourselves a refoundation of the central right wing and the right wing political wing, not a historicist one, but a doctrinal one. So this is one of the challenges we have. So my point is, our mission is a little bit much more higher than catch-all parties that are being created now all around the world. We have these catch-all parties which try to gather people and get some positions and get some seat in the parliament, and we want to do something a little bit more strong, more important for the history of our country. So when you are here, you are part of such a history. That's
well, that's probably why I'm here. In Italy we had the Italian government is run now by a coalition of two parties. The left wing party and the Cinque Stelle, the Five Stars party. And the Five Stars party started out saying, "Oh, we don't care about the old system. We are completely new. We are going to fight the system. We're going to fight the left wing. We're going to do this. We're going to do that." At one point, they form a government with the right wing, with Salvini, with Giorgia Meloni, and as time goes by, the left wing grew, and finally, what happened was that there was a new party forming between, a new coalition forming between the Cinque Stelle and the left wing party. So what this story is telling us is that people with no experience, with no school educations, with no attachment to politics and knowledge of politics, have come to power, and I believe that's very very dangerous. I express myself many times saying that in order to do politics, you really need experience, you really need to study, you really need to know what you're doing. It's not enough just go out and trick people and put yourself in the position where you are a minister, because then that's just the beginning, of it's not the success. They see that as the arrival point, is to gain power and control over the people. I see that as the starting point. That's the moment where you should show all your qualities. That should show what you've studied for. That should show, what good are you going to do for the people. And that's very unfortunate, because this is instead the moment where they fail. They don't know what to do. They start, cracking up. They start fighting over, silly things. And you have a government that spends millions on, on desks with wheels for kids, and spends millions in electric bicycles, and the economic and foreign politics is just, going down the drain. So I think, it's in the respect of this experience that has happened many times over in Italy. My suggestion, I'm not a politician, I am just, I'm a strategist, but my suggestion is, work your way up slowly but surely, and build, the capability of having people around you capable and knowledgeable and intelligent and strong enough, to really make the difference when you're going to be up there. What I can tell you that those days I've been meeting with a lot of people, entrepreneurs, people from the political parties, even the mayor of Tirana, and so much has been done. No matter what, my impression is that Tirana is very active, and a lot of things, good things, are happening. And of course, maybe you as a political leader do not agree with me, but we should take all the goods that there is and try to make it better. One thing that we have seen in many political challenges around the world, in some countries, and again, I can tell you, from my direct experience, because I was working there at the time, many times what happens is one political party goes into control. They build certain things that are good for the country, but because they were built under that political sign, when the next one arrives, it destroys everything just because. So I think to be honest, you also have to recognize the good that is in other people, and you should try to put together your energy sometimes and try to maximize the result for the good of everybody. This is my, strategic vision. It doesn't have anything to do with political vision, that I understand, sometimes it clashes against, whatever the other party has done. But, to be honest, we really need to, in this moment of crisis, we really need all the energy, all the help, all the good that we can bring out of people, and all the good that has been done. This is my opinion.
Perfect. How would you describe Albania with a few words, now that you are on your second visit here, and so you know a little bit more, you've seen a little bit more? So how would you describe?
Albania is in a great position. It needs a lot of development, which it seems that is, little by little taking place. It needs more, probably more freedom in the way people can come here, invest money, and a little bit more, probably, security. Most of it, I believe that it needs communication with the outside world, where it proves itself to be a safe place to come and to invest, and shows all the beautiful possibilities that there are. There is so much. I mean, there is so much history. There is so much, in terms of nature, in terms of, you know, things to be done. The city of Tirana is growing so much, and I believe, you know, Durham can grow as well. And there is so much to do wherever you turn. There is, you know, there is a lot of things to be done, but also there is a lot of culture. You know, you go around Tirana, you see the restaurants and the food is, you know, are great. I never felt threatened by anyone. Wherever I go, I can, you know, see that there are friendly people, and service is very good. So it shows a higher standard, you know, of a civilization, and I think it's misjudged. You know, many times it's misjudged outside the country. So I would say it needs to open up channels of communication and show that it's ready to grow. And because of Europe and the situation around the world, I'm sure that a place like this is, you know, it's heaven for a lot of people.
So you think Albania it's a country ready to receive foreign investments and?
Well, from one side, I think so. From the other side, I see, you know, very strange. I don't want to get into, you know, details, but I see, you know, some of the politicians acting in a very strange way, like they are pirates, you know, and they can, you know, do whatever they want. And the point is, maybe they should use their energy to build hospitals and to make this nation great again. Like I like to say, let's make Albania great again. So I believe that Albania should find a more stable political environment. And I know maybe you don't like that, because you say, hey, you know, we need new parties to take over, and we need more democracy, more change. But also the system to grow needs stability. So it needs, you know, more responsible people, maybe. This is my answer. It doesn't need more chaos, you know, it doesn't need more instability. It needs more stability in the instability. It needs more more options, but more options don't mean more, you know, craziness. It doesn't mean entropy. Entropy is never good. Entropy is the beginning of all the ends. So I would suggest that, you know, we start, you know, toning down certain things and show that it's mature enough. The politics is mature enough to be able to come together and have differences and take the best out of whatever idea it comes. And this is my idea of politics. My idea of politics is people coming together with responsibility and ethic. I don't think we are seeing quite that yet in Albania.
So you believe that responsible politics, more democracy, more honesty on institutions would make Albania great again?
I totally think so. I totally think that if an investor can come here and not having to be threatened by, you know, some kind of crazy guy going like, I'm gonna, you know, do whatever to stay in power or to take power or to challenge the government. I think, you know, a lot of people are gonna come here. The weather is great, the country is great, the possibilities are great. It's very well located. It's got beautiful beaches. It doesn't have any, you know, religion tension, and you know, and it's open to a lot of, you know, to a lot of business. And I think, you know, there is a lot of culture. The truth is Albania is an old state, and in the DNA of the people there is a lot of respect, a lot of culture.
Mm-hmm. Would you describe now, have you an understanding or a thought or, I don't know, an opinion or a reflection? Can you describe with a few words, how do you see LRE, Lëvizja?
I see in a position of responsibility. I think, you know, this party can really show political ethic, can really show that the dream is possible, incredible, and I know it's hard. It's hard because people do not believe. The people have, you know, the tendency to say, oh, well, you know, I have to go and work for my food, and once I have food on the table for me and my kids, who cares about the rest? But it's also true that we need a dream. We need not just to survive and to have our kids survive, but we need to make this place a better place. We need to share, we need to be happy, we need to be... we need to feel part of a community that it's doing something good, and I think this is a fundamental inner force that we should share. And that's in that respect, I think LRA, for what I've seen so far, is a great melting place. It's a great melting pot where a lot of good people have come here, and a lot of good people have come to share and to, you know, and to give their time, their energy, their thoughts. And for me, it's great just to spend time with these people and talk and share and get your ideas and you know, and be able to show also how things should be constructed in order not to waste, not to lose all this energy and all this goodwill.
You are an activist that in your life you have belonged to the center-right wing. How do you think those ideas can fit with LRE? So can LRE really revive the center-right wing in Albania?
I think historically we should a little overcome that point. Again, I think Italy, you know, 20, 30 years ago was in the same position where it's Albania today. We had great potential. Italy was had, of course, an economic power, much bigger than it is today, and the power was retained by the same group for many years. And actually, I just finished reading a book about the fact that although there was a change, the change was always controlled by the same families and the same group and the same. So, you know, it's like history is repeating, but it's not really history repeating. It's really, you know, how complex systems work. And so you can't replace a complex system in one zip. It takes time. And it's like, you know, for your body, you don't get sick tomorrow morning unless you get into an accident. So that will, you know, compare to a war. But except, you know, if you take out those exceptions, if you get sick or if you get, you know, usually it takes time, and it's not one event that will make you sick. Probably you don't take your vitamin C for years to come, you don't take your vitamin D, then you don't take your vitamin K1, and the pressure goes on. You know, when the pressure goes up, and then you start seeing in not really well, and then, you know, maybe your liver, you know, swollen a little bit, and you don't take care of your liver, and you keep drinking whatever you're drinking, and you're not, you know, drinking enough, and so finally, you know, after many years of inflammatory disease, and, you know, here and there, then you develop a cancer. But that's not, you know, it's not the cancer the problem. The problem is the way you lived up to that point. The problem is that you haven't been taking care of your body. You haven't been taking care of what, you know, your soul needs. It's not just a matter of saying, you know, I have a great spirit, you know, I'm a positive, great spirit. Yes, you are a positive, great spirit, but you also have a, you know, molecular body that needs to know that you're taking care of it. So you need to stop thinking, you know, this is my body, I'll do whatever I want with it. That's your body, but you need to take care of your body. You need to give the right amount of minerals, the right amount of vitamins, the right amount of fat, the right amount of everything in order for your body to function. And you need to work out, you need to do things. So in the same, in the same way, a country like Albania, like Italy, like Germany, like any other country, it needs, a lot of factors to be nourished, to be brought to function very well. And so that's the whole point. The whole point is to be able to understand first what you need, what your body needs or what your country needs, and then to provide those things and make those changes. And those changes are going to take time. It's not like I'm taking vitamin C today or I'm taking vitamin K1 today and my pressure is going to go down tomorrow morning. It doesn't work that way. And unfortunately, we always think, oh, I go to the doctor when I'm very sick and the doctor is going to solve the problem. The doctor doesn't solve the problem in 99% of the cases. The doctor does solve the symptom. And symptom goes away, so you feel better and you say, oh, I'm okay. No, you're not okay. All those symptoms that you had, are gone, but all the problems are still there, or 80% of the problems are still there, and they're just getting more complicated. The system just gets more and more twisted and tied up.
Now I have a very direct question.
Yeah, I love direct questions.
Do you really think that in such a country with fake democracy, fake pluralism, with oligarchs, with organized crime, with owners of the media who are in symbiosis with three main parties, so no media coverage at all, nothing. We don't exist for the media. With zero money, zero powers. Do you really think that we can make a change? Do you really think that we can do something?
Well, in my vision, something is happening. In my vision, there was not an office. Now there is an office. Tomorrow there are going to be two offices. Before there was no Facebook, live connections with, when it started out, it was 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 50,000 people. So somehow, no matter how you want to put it, the energy is coming together, and who knows, maybe somebody is watching over you. Maybe, you think there is nothing, but there is more than what the eyes can meet. What I can tell you and what I say to people is, you never know. Maybe somebody is, is watching over you, and somebody is getting ready to say, hey, here is 100 million. We want really this thing to change, and maybe you never know. But I believe that things do change. It takes time, but they do change, and the change is here. I mean, look at all that's being growing in the latest months, and the fact that no matter what, I'm here. I'm talking to you, and before we met in London, now I'm here, and maybe there are going to be more of me joining the party. Maybe maybe more parties are going to open around the world. Maybe this is going to be something that it's on an international level, that started here for some kind of crazy reason, and is going to contaminate the world, and the things are really going to change. And then you'll see that a crooked party here, or a bunch of mafioso, here, are not going to be able to sustain or fight good people around the world. I mean, many international forces, because when you have international pressure over one single group in a single country, it's very hard for a single group in a single country to be able to sustain the pressure of the world.
So you don't see us, for example, with the eyes of a friendship you have with me, and with the positivity that the friendship can give in your thoughts, in your reflections. You don't see us even as some crazy people who are on the edge of doing an adventure, a crazy adventure.
I think you are crazy, but I think, you know, I think you're crazy. And I always stress out the fact that you have to be a little crazy to believe you're going to make a change. But like I said yesterday, you know, incredible things happen when you believe into something. And of course you can argue that Christ was crazy. He finally got killed by the very people he was trying to save. But again, maybe, you know, our life and our being here in this world is not about, you know, surviving. It's not about living forever. It's about making a change, making a difference. And I believe in that respect, we have a great chance of really, you know, doing and hoping and making that change. And it's really up to every single person. So history is full of examples. History is full of people that died before they could really make a change. But it's also full of examples of people dying, making that change. And, you know, some wonderful moments where not only they made a change, but they survived to keep, you know, to have legacy into the future.
Okay, have you ever thought, for example, you'll be here with us?
I am here with you.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll be here with us during the real challenge, which would be...
It is a real challenge every day.
Well, okay, you'll be with us during the struggle, the battle, the electoral campaign. And let's take this case. For example, we could fail. We could...
You can't. In my point of view, I'm sorry if I contradict you, you are the leader of the party, Mr. Galdini, but you can't fail. You can't fail because the matter is, if you're here and you believe in what you do, that's already a victory. So you can fail. How are you going to fail? You can not make it to the parliament. You cannot, you know, make it to, your candidate cannot make it to power. But that doesn't mean you're failing. You are actually succeeding no matter what. The other party can fail. The other party is in power. They have everything to lose. What are you going to lose? How are you going to fail? You have nothing. Like you said before, you cannot fail.
Well, but on this, yes, on this way of seeing it, on this point of view, yes, people expect that you gather them, you make them together to achieve a goal. So they want to see you getting as many votes as is possible.
Well, it's up to them.
So
they have to understand that it's their responsibility. If they don't go out, if they don't make the change, if they don't believe, you know, and sell their idea and sell their, you know, their proposition to other people and make all this possible, like the people that made this office possible. They believed in, you know, in whatever, you know, you were doing, in the theme and the story you were telling. And so this office came out of nothing. And so, you know, in the same way, if people wants to see you inside the parliament, well, they can, you know, they can take responsibility and put you there, or they cannot. And it's not going to be your fault. It's not going to be your unsuccess. It's going to be everybody's failure. So everybody should take responsibility. This is a moment where people can make a difference. Are they going to? Well, that's their problem, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great. Now, as a strategic advisor of LRE, do you have goals? So where do you see LRE during the elections of next year?
I don't know if I should be so open, since we're not talking in a private, you know, little environment. But what I would like to tell you is that, to me, the main principal goal is to organize the party, is to maximize the results. So at this point, I see that we need more communication. We certainly need to be able to get to the media, and we should be able to rally up people and start, really putting pressure on some key points. And we should really start organizing our forces. We start reaching numbers that are very interesting. And so another point that I would like to address is the internationalization of LRA and the work you've started, when you came to Rome and when, you're moving around in Washington. I think, another point is to really start talking to other leaders of other political parties around the world. Because, again, this will give LRA the respect, the power, and the energy to overcome probably the isolation that finds in this country. So there is a lot of work to be done. I think, we have to be very, very careful in where we put our energies. And this is another point. Another point is we should start regarding all the energies that it comes in as, something that we have to value, and we have to be very, very careful also on your time, on maximizing your time. And we're going to have to start hiring key figures to be able to address, for instance, public speeches, to have, a front spokesman. So we need to start structuring this party, and things grow to a certain point spontaneously, like you have but a different thing is to have a field full of fruit and full of things that you have to harvest. It's beautiful to find whatever you need outside, but then we need to start growing our own energy and giving direction to what we do. So I urge the party to reconsider many of the things that were spontaneous before, and even the access to the office. Before anyone could come here and spend time, and it was great. I think now we got to be more focused. Now here, we have little time to organize lots of things. April is around the corner. We need people that come in the office and work in the office. This is not a place where, I'm sorry to say, this is my point of view, as a strategic analyst. We need to focus more. We need to do better. We can do much better. We need to build a much better website and with a lot of functions, and we need to translate books, like I said last night. We need to start, really recruiting people that have a higher education, and the ones that we trust, we need to bring them to a higher level. As a party, I'm not talking as a political leader. I'm talking, structurally. This is what I see.
Mm-hmm. Where do you see us in the next 5 years?
Well, I see that I don't want to say where I see us in 5 years, as in terms of political rewards. I believe we're going to be in a very nice position. I don't want to say anything. You and your party more than we. But I believe most of it, that if we keep on growing spiritually and emotionally and culturally and politically the way we are growing today, in numbers and in strength, I think it's going to be a great party, and I think it's going to be a great example of politics, not only for Albania but for the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ci sono delle persone che vogliono sentire un po' la voce di Simone, dei ragazzi del Muretto in italiano. Puoi dare un messaggio in italiano?
E il messaggio è che non importa che lingua parliamo, ma la cosa importante è che ci parliamo e che ci trasmettiamo delle informazioni interessanti e che insieme possiamo veramente costruire una grande famiglia, una famiglia che fa delle belle cose, che costruisce, che si scambia aiuto e che guarda al futuro per essere felice, stare bene insieme e aiutare anche gli altri.
Tu eri giovane quando facevi Simone, facevi l'attore.
Non è vero, sono ancora giovane e ho smesso di fare l'attore.
Ma come mai? Cosa ti ha fatto entrare in arte? Perché sei diventato un attore?
Ma io nell'arte sono sempre stato, nel senso che mio padre faceva il critico d'arte, per cui con la pittura, i quadri, sono stato vicino ai movimenti culturali di quando ero bambino, ero con molti artisti che poi sono diventati famosi. Mia madre era coinvolta nella letteratura e nel cinema, per cui sono sempre stato una persona vicino all'arte. Da casa mia sono sempre passate persone intellettuali, grandi attori, grandi registi, sono cresciuti anche a casa mia grandi registi e grandi intellettuali, e questa era la gente con cui io sono cresciuto, con cui ho vissuto, per cui era per me un sintomo della società anche il livello culturale e il livello artistico che una società ha e che può esprimere. L'arte è come la musica, è uno strumento fantastico che unisce le persone e che al di là della loro cultura, al di là del loro orientamento politico, religione, l'arte è fantastica. Io mi emoziono quando vado all'Alhambra, eppure sono soltanto segni, è un grande luogo islamico. Come mi emoziono quando vado in Vaticano, come mi emoziono quando guardo un Matisse o sento un'opera per cui credo che l'arte sia veramente molto importante per unire le persone, ma soprattutto per farci capire da dove veniamo, la nostra tradizione, la nostra storia, e poter anche esportare e parlare e trovare anche un luogo dove possiamo essere più vicini l'uno all'altro, indipendentemente dai problemi, dalle differenze, dalle cose che ci separano tutti i giorni.
Ma tu hai fatto... quanti film hai fatto?
Dovrei leggerlo, ma credo una trentina.
Trentina. Tutti in Italia, a Cinecittà o anche...
No, sono stato anche molti anni, sono stato 7 anni a Hollywood, dove ho fatto molte cose, molti esperimenti, ho fatto anche qualche film, qualche serie televisiva e qualche soap opera, ma devo essere sincero, non mi ricordo tutto quello che ho fatto, perché per me non era tanto importante fare curriculum quanto incontrare le persone e divertirmi con loro e di condividere dei momenti interessanti e di crescita.
Con quali attori hai fatto dei film, grandi attori che conosciamo in Albania, per esempio, in Cinecittà, e poi parliamo di Hollywood?
Cinecittà, in Italia ho lavorato credo con quasi tutti, in una maniera o nell'altra, perché poi ho fatto anche regia e ho fatto anche poi produttore, per cui in queste 3 funzioni, nell'ottava arte, nell'arte del cinema, da Pozzetto a Montesano, a Gigi Proietti,
che ricordiamo oggi con...
sì, oggi Gigi sì, ma anche tantissimi attori.
Come è stato Gigi Proietti da vicino?
Gigi è stato molto carino, molto gentile, abbiamo fatto una serie televisiva che si chiamava Il Maresciallo Rocca. Io poi avevo un ruolo un po' strano perché ero un tenente, si chiamava Tenente Pascutti, che arrestava Gigi perché lo accusava di essere un corrotto. Per cui credo che sia l'unico momento in tutta la serie televisiva in cui il Maresciallo Rocca viene arrestato. Ma tanti, Alessia Marcuzzi, ma veramente tutti gli attori. Valeria Marini ha cominciato a lavorare con me, ha fatto la sua prima parte con me. Tante persone, sì.
E a Hollywood con chi hai lavorato a Hollywood?
Beh, Oliver, sai, la parola lavorare poi è sempre un po' tricky, nel senso che è sempre un po'... molte volte si lavora con le persone, si sta insieme alle persone.
Con chi hai avuto lo chance di fare amicizia?
Sì, beh, sono stato grazie a Oliver Stone, che è regista di Born on the 4th of July, regista di Natural Born Killers, Nixon, JFK, Platoon, di cui è uscito ora un bellissimo libro che si chiama Chasing the Light, seguendo la luce, che ho recensito poi per un canale, per un giornale. E attraverso Oliver sono stato molto tempo sul set dei Doors, per cui con Val Kilmer, poi dopo siamo stati durante le riprese di JFK. Non tutti sanno che in JFK c'era anche Joe Pesci che faceva una parte, sono stato con Kevin Costner, ho fatto molta amicizia con Gary Oldman, che poi ci siamo visti molte volte anche dopo, che Gary Oldman è un altro grande attore che ha fatto Dracula, il protagonista di Dracula, sì. Tantissime persone. Oliver poi condivideva il suo studio in Santa Monica con un altro personaggio particolare che era Arnold Schwarzenegger, e Arnold, mi ricordo, un giorno mi regalò una maglietta che poi ho sempre usato come pigiama perché era enorme, di Terminator 2. Per cui insomma il mondo di Hollywood poi ora stiamo mettendo insieme un libro fotografico perché è venuto a fotografarmi un grande fotografo in quegli anni lì a Los Angeles, e stiamo mettendo insieme un libro fotografico che si chiama Hollywood e altre follie, con me e i personaggi di quei posti. C'è poi c'è il film che ho fatto con Gus Van Sant, che era Gus Food, no, si chiamava, non mi ricordo tutti i film che ho fatto, ma c'era Keanu Reeves e River Phoenix. River Phoenix era, non so se molti se lo ricordano, era un giovane attore americano che era di molto grande successo, che poi è morto all'interno di fuori da una discoteca che si chiama Viper. In realtà lui poi è morto dentro, ma venne trascinato fuori per non dar problemi al locale. E Keanu Reeves era l'altro personaggio. Keanu Reeves è anche un attore abbastanza conosciuto, credo anche qui in Albania. Sì. E con Keanu abbiamo passato tanto tempo a parlare anche di progetti futuri. Gus Van Sant ha fatto un libro fotografico che si chiamava 101 Portrait. Oggi è un libro che costa sui 1.000 euro da comprare. E insieme a Francis Ford Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola è un'altra persona che ho conosciuto bene perché quando ho lavorato con Nicolas Cage e Giancarlo Giannini in Africa insieme a anche Tognazzi, Nicolas era il protagonista di questo film che si chiamava Tempo di uccidere, Time to Kill. Abbiamo speso molti mesi in Africa, e poi Nicolas Cage, il suo vero cognome è Nicolas Coppola. Sul passaporto c'è scritto Nicolas Coppola.
Ma lui è greco o italiano?
Lui è italiano. Francis Ford Coppola è italiano.
No, Nicolas Cage.
È italiano, è il nipote di Francis Ford Coppola.
Ma
di origini italiane sono.
Credo che ha delle radici anche greche, perché...
Io le radici non le so quali radici ha,
perché ho letto dei giornali in Grecia che dicono che Nicolas Cage...
Sì, questo io non so cosa dirti. Quello che ti so dire è che Nicolas mi ha presentato Francis Ford Coppola, mi ha presentato Winona Ryder, mi ha presentato tanti personaggi del mondo del cinema americano.
Lo sai, io ho una passione per il cinema dell'Hollywood, ma l'attore che mi piace di più è Al Pacino. Adesso mi ricordo che tu sei molto amico con Brian De Palma.
Sì. Ho prodotto Brian De Palma, ho prodotto un film molto importante con cui abbiamo vinto Venezia.
Quale?
Redacted di Brian De Palma.
A me piace da Brian De Palma il film Carlitos Way con Al Pacino.
Sì, bellissimo. E ora con Al Pacino abbiamo un progetto. Stiamo vedendo un po', ora sono venuto qui anche per riaprire la mia società di produzioni. la mia società attraverso la mia società di consulenza strategica sto portando qui, spero di portare diverse produzioni cinematografiche, e per cui credo l'Albania sarà teatro di belle operazioni. Stiamo lavorando perché il primo film sia proprio quello con Al Pacino qui in Albania.
Lo porti Al Pacino qui in Albania?
Non ho detto niente, è un segreto.
È un segreto. Allora mi devi far incontrarlo.
Beh, dipende se sarai un buon leader di partito o no.
La porti qua?
Sì, sì.
Sarà perfetto. Allora tu stai pubblicando in Albania un film, un libro.
Sì.
Molto presto il tuo libro sarà in venduta, facciamo la promozione del libro. Di che parla questo libro? Che libro è?
Beh, è un libro dove io parlo di grandi personaggi che ho incontrato in tutti gli ambienti, da Daniel Libeskind, che è un architetto che fra le altre cose vorrei coinvolgere anche in un progetto qui in Albania, che è quello che ha fatto Freedom Tower, che ha fatto il Museo della Shoah, che ha lavorato anche qua in Albania già. E Daniel, parlo di Oliver Stone, del mio rapporto con Oliver, parlo di Richard Horowitz, che è un compositore che ha vinto un premio per Il tè nel deserto, e parlo di Arian Galdini, che è stata appointed alle Nazioni Unite e anche al World Food Project, che è il sistema che per la FAO, cioè che per le Nazioni Unite controlla tutte le altre associazioni tipo la FAO di cibo, per cui controlla la
lotta contro il fame.
Sì, la lotta contro la fame. E Arian è stata una mia grande passione, nel senso che è una donna incredibile con una grandissima energia e che gestiva un team di più di 800 persone, soltanto il suo team, e solo nel suo ufficio ce n'erano 34 solo nel suo ufficio. Girava per tutto il mondo, perché la fame è un problema che esiste anche in Albania dietro l'angolo, ma esiste in Africa, magari ne sentiamo parlare di più, o in Somalia, o piuttosto che in Yemen, ma è un problema che esiste ovunque. Per cui è stato veramente molto challenging, molto difficile seguirla in queste sue cose, ma l'intervista che c'è dentro il libro con lei è molto bella, credo che sia molto importante. Parlo di Max Biaggi, che è stato un campione di moto, parlo di personaggi molto diversi uno dall'altro, ma soprattutto parlo del bisogno che abbiamo e dell'opportunità che abbiamo di incontrare persone straordinarie, che magari non ci rendiamo neanche conto che sono straordinarie. Perché non ci diamo la possibilità di incontrarle, non ci diamo la possibilità di condividere con queste persone qualcosa. E molte volte anche la nostra paura di non essere adeguati, la nostra paura di non essere intelligenti abbastanza, di non sapere abbastanza, di non essere all'altezza. Invece, senza essere sbruffoni, senza essere arroganti, senza essere invasivi o violenti, dobbiamo imparare a prendere queste opportunità, a condividere le cose. E anch'io molte volte mi sono trovato nella posizione, anche con amici che erano molto famosi, che erano molto potenti, di essere in imbarazzo, di essere un po' sulle spine, diciamo, perché quando sei con un grande personaggio c'è tanta gente intorno, a volte ti emozioni un po', no? E allora questa emozione fa scaturire, grazie, per fortuna che abbiamo te. e allora ti fa emozionare. Però siamo tutti esseri umani, e se facciamo vincere questa parte umana di noi, credo che sia sempre una grande vittoria. In questo libro io racconto un po', do un po' dei suggerimenti, do un po' sprono un po' le persone a far vincere la parte, diciamo, umana, a far vincere la parte di propensione, di apertura verso gli altri.
Tu sei un autore di quanti libri?
Questo è il mio 6º libro, ne ho fatti 5 pubblicati, sono 6 i libri, e ora diventeranno, in realtà sono un po' di più i libri che ho preparato. Ogni libro, bisogna pensare che io non scrivo, almeno ho scritto 2 romanzi e diverse sceneggiature, ma i libri, quelli che io considero libri, sono dei saggi, e ogni saggio è frutto di tanti anni di ricerca, di esperienza, di studio. Questo qui è il frutto di un libro più grande che era stato fatto sul mindset e di altre ricerche che sono state fatte proprio nel campo delle neuroscienze e nel campo delle politiche sociali. Per cui è un po' un libro a parte, che non è mai stato fatto così da me, almeno in altri campi.
Sei felice che il tuo libro si è tradotto in albanese e poi si pubblica in albanese?
Ma sono molto felice perché ti torno a dire, l'Albania ha una grande tradizione culturale e avevo voglia di entrare in questo mercato, e credo di esserci entrato con una grande casa editrice che sta facendo un ottimo lavoro, e spero veramente che presto si abbia una data di uscita del libro e che sia l'inizio di un mio rapporto con la lingua albanese.
Devi imparare l'albanese.
Io parlo albanese come il cinese, per cui...
Come il cinese?
Sì.
Allora faremo tutto l'impossibile che tu ci impari ad avere successo.
Sì, ci insegni.
Ci insegni. Ci insegni. Guarda il mio italiano, mi devi insegnare un po' l'italiano.
Sì, vabbè, quando tu mi insegni un po' di albanese.
Allora facciamo così, facciamo un patto. Io ti insegno l'albanese, tu mi insegni l'italiano.
Sì, ok.
Perché
sembra un buon patto.
Io ho problemi con il mio italiano.
Io ho problemi con il mio albanese.
Tu hai molti problemi con il tuo albanese.
Molti di più di quelli che tu hai con l'italiano. È vero, è vero.
Ma l'albanese è una lingua bellissima. Vedrai che non sarà difficile, perché tu sei uno che viaggia per il mondo, conosci tante culture, tu leggi molto, sei uno studioso, e quando vivrai qua, quando sarai circondato dalle persone che veramente vorranno comunicare con te, sarai così veloce ad imparare?
Speriamo, ci proviamo.
Sì.
Ci proviamo.
Molto grazie.
A voi, sempre.
Sei un campione.
Sì, beh, con un altro campione facciamo 2 campioni. Con tutti gli altri voi, che ha tutti i campioni, siamo una bella squadra.
Siamo una bella squadra. Io sono felice che tu sei mio amico, sei mio fratello, siamo guerrieri. Come si dice?
Forza guerrieri.
Forza guerrieri?
Sì,
Ma un'altra cosa.
Cosa?
Never give out.
Never give up, never give in, we only die to regroup.
Cioè, mai
arrendersi, mai ritirarsi, e noi moriamo soltanto per ritrovarci tutti quanti insieme.
perfetto.